Good afternoon and welcome back to some European SPL. My name's F. Dot, and we've got Adonis over here as well. He's going to help us break down the games forward. We just saw a fantastic set between Panthera. They have clinched, and they will, well, they're mathematically going to DreamHack. We finally have,
They're going to be first seed. They're
Congratulations.
going to be first seed unless they all just stop playing, which we don't allow, so they can't just do that. Paradigm coming in at second right now, 11-7, followed by Cringe Crew, 9-7, and then Team Dignitas at 9-9. And those are the two teams we're going to be seeing here. If Dignitas can find 2 wins, they will overtake Cringe Crew for that number 3 spot.
Exactly. I mean, grass is green, sky is blue, Panthera's going to DreamHack. As far as the other teams,
Are you two?
It's certainly not that conversation.
I need you to be someone from like a European team. Are you two?
Dude,
that was a great rhyme. You should respect that.
I have gotten my rhymes. I have gotten my rhymes out of my system already, or early this morning. Cringe Crew versus Dignitas. This one should be pretty interesting, as we said. Both teams 3 and 4, really competing for that spot. Who do you think? I think these teams are very evenly matched. Who do you think has the upper edge?
I guess it depends, right? I would say they're pretty evenly matched. I don't know, man.
Got him.
Cringe Crew, I think, are probably the more intelligent squad.
Okay.
But I think Suntouch's aggression has opened up many more doors and opportunities for Dignitas than they had from last year with I believe it was Maniac or Manalike, now or previously FrostiaK. Or Frezzo. Come on, I'm tired of stop switching names. Stop switching names. Frezzo, who they had as a support last year, was a little bit less aggressive than Suntouch has been, and Suntouch's Bacchus has been phenomenal so far.
And that's been proving to be very helpful to the team overall. The last conversation we had about Dignitas, they went up against Hungry for More, and they split right down the middle. On the other hand, Cringe Crew actually coming off of 2 separate wins. So a little bit of different momentum behind these characters as far as their own personal storylines are concerned. 2 evenly matched teams. It might make a difference in the picks and bans. So let's take a look. Up in the ultimate, not going to find anyone. There's the combo. Kero off the assist. There's Kero, double kill from side lane. Comes out onto Dimmy. Kero winds up with a triple kill at the 10-minute mark. Repikas lands down. Half health for the Titans. Axioz takes out 2.
That is it. Axioz and Repikas, the team are respawning.
Order side, Cringe Crew. First pick, first ban as well. Up against Team Dignitas, we've been seeing some Bacchus bans, specifically at Suntouch. We've seen some other particular characters, but of course, there are just the same old strong gods.
We've also seen the Wrath level 1 invade onto Suntouch as Bacchus.
Yes.
That he practiced in casuals.
Yeah. Can't ban out the relics, though. But what Cringe Crew can ban out is the legend that is ShadowNightmare's Giannis. It's been spoken about.
That.
We got to see it last time around, and Cringe Crew don't want to see it again. They don't want to see Kepri either.
And Dignitas have taken out Bacchus, and we've seen this kind of this pick be successful and not so successful. It kind of depends. I think Europe is overvaluing it right now, but sometimes players are just a little bit too worried about it just running rampant, right? They don't want to run the risk of the Bacchus getting, a couple level lead and then just being this unstoppable force.
And also, I mean, honestly, it's just kind of obnoxious. You have to adapt your... Bacchus is one of the characters that you have to adapt your game plan around, anticipating the inevitable jungle invades. You're going to have less speed buff specifically. So with Bacchus, you can play a little bit more what you're used to, and Dignitas certainly used to playing Apollo. We've seen Rens on this character a number of times, although his recent success on her might make people want to see other things.
Even Dodo's like, yeah, Rens carried us somehow, right? Like, everyone knows that, like, Rens can be a monster, however, he hasn't really been. Last set, though, on her was phenomenal. A player we haven't seen all split so far, and I think if he could keep up the consistency, honestly, if Rins had been playing the level he played at Super Regionals, I would say this is Dignitas has the advantage. But he hasn't been. He hasn't been consistent. And if he is here, though, right, if he has another good set, that is a very good look for Dignitas at making DreamHack.
So Dignitas hoping that Rens' recent performance will catapult him into the same situation. Bacchus, on the other hand, this is something that is tried and true, certainly dependable for Suntouch. Very few losses, actually, when Suntouch winds up with the Bacchus himself, who will be going up against the Ares and the Hunbats. So Cringe Crew do have a number of options to mitigate whatever Bacchus is trying to start.
Mercury back in the meta. Speed buff is here. Wind Demon is here. Bloodforge is here.
Mercury.
FrostiaK gonna play it again for the second time. I think he's been the only one to play it so far. I can't recall if anyone else played it yesterday, but he actually was able to steal away with a gold tier with the cheeky little Meiju look there. On the other side, Cringe Crew, they draft Hun, Batz, and Ares to go with the Raijin for their 3-man core.
Cringe Crew, they've got an immobile giant damage mage called Raijin, so they want to make sure Dignitas doesn't have the same damn thing. They take Zeus off the table. Hou-Yi not going to be an option for either team as well. And the last ban coming out from Team Dignitas in our second round will probably be something a little bit more aggressive, and Odin certainly fits that statement.
And a little bit worried there. They don't want to kind of guarantee themselves locked in an area for the Raijin and the Hun Batz to follow up. And Cringe Crew, they're going to be looking to ban here. They could, once again, target out a mid laner, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to take away ShadowNightmare Scylla, so 3 target bans at him.
So Team Dignitas have a number of options here. The most common is to leave the solo lane for last, but we'll see Dodo on the Guan Yu, and Team Dignitas will leave the mid pick for the very last.
Guan jungle. We going back in time. Season 1, boys.
I'm the one that always has the open mind, so you know what? It's very possible we could see a Guan Yu jungle.
No, I just want to see
solo.
the Merc solo. That's all I want to see again. Someone's going to do it, right? I don't know if anyone's going to risk it.
Dodo has played the Lokis and the Apollos.
Scumbag.
So if somebody's
He's the scumbag of the SPL. He plays Loki. Reddit hates him, right? Like it's like an ad, right? It's like, Reddit hates him.
He's
Your
got
mom
all the
wants
secrets.
to be him. It's Loki.
He's got all the secrets. Come watch the SPL with Team Dignitas. And they'll be watching Bellona for sure in that short lane. Neith will be selected as well. So a very cut and dry situation for Cringe Crews as far as where they're going to apply all of their pieces. Everything seems to be relatively standard. Team Dignitas, this last pick will likely wind up in the long lane. And standard, well, is that what Team Dignitas want to do?
It's going to be raw. So a little bit of, they actually have a decent amount of setup to confirm this raw damage, right? Belly flop on Bacchus. Mercury has the, he can grab you and aim where you're going to go. Additionally, the ult will spin you in a circle and root you for a little bit. And then Guan Yu also has cavalry charge. Just kind of time the stun well with ShadowNightmare snipe, and we could see some fancy plays.
Could see some fancy plays. Cringe Crew definitely going to have to lean on the healing reduction if they want to get into this one in a positive note. The first game out of 2, Cringe Crew versus Team Dignitas coming at you. Jeffrey on top of him and the chase down. ShadowNightmare finds the kill!
Absolutely brilliant.
There's the Athena ult. Real's ult should help secure this unless Athena actually... The ult lands just in time for Suntouch to intercept.
Gold Fury, Rens is here, let's watch him. Dignitas get the Gold Fury off that engagement.
Dignitas, for me, is one of the most fun teams to watch when everything is working on all cylinders. All of these players are incredibly dynamic. As we said, Ren's probably not the most reliable or dependable hunter when it comes. He's very up and down. But when everything works out for Team Dignitas, they're exciting, they're explosive, and they take games to the bank.
And we'll have to see if that can happen here. FrostiaK on this Mercury, who we're following along right now. Hasn't gone into the sprint, so that's what we actually saw a lot from before is like actually level 1 sprints coming out in Season 2 from Mercury's, just because it gave you kind of that massive power boost. However, now that you're locked away from it for 12 levels, teams and Mercury players kind of focusing on just the purification. And you could see Suntouch, it was highlighted by the cameraman. It's Wrath again. So invade, boys. Suntouch walking up this solo lane.
Yep.
Not something Cringe Crew may expect to happen.
Yeah, this is something.
Oh,
that
no,
we saw.
they do expect it. Look at that
Yeah?
ward on the left. Look at that ward on red buff. They know exactly that there is only Raw and Apollo there. So they know Suntouch is doing something cheeky.
Yeah, they saw this in game number 1 yesterday. Dignitas returned to something a little bit more standard. They might know, but it doesn't quite matter. There's the jump, there's the hit, and the Wrath going to come out in just a handful. And it goes to Suntouch. Speedy Bacchus going to walk away, and he's not going to be punished for it. Last time we saw nobody really punish him. Well, this time Cringe Crew turned around.
The problem
This
here
is
is that
greedy.
Cringe Crew don't have any slows, right? If they have slows, it's fine. And Suntouch, once again, he's just bullying, right? He's not even trying to steal this. He has belly flop, but that's just used to an escape. He's just wasting time on this buff. And look at this. Repikas and Axioz are still, and it's going to be stolen away by Suntouch. He hits level 2.
And that's Suntouch's whole game. Now, the buff is just icing on the cake. Suntouch went for the speed buff, and that's all well and good. He made the turnaround again, exactly like you said. Suntouch, his whole idea is, sure, he might fall behind. He might not get the optimal farm, but you sure as heck ain't either.
I like what he's done this time. He's actually switched up. Last time he had Traveler shoes, and Kero actually does not seem to understand that the Bacchus is sitting in the jungle waiting for him. him. Thunder crashes over the wall. Suntouch wanted to chase but couldn't find the angle. EmilZy and Shaggyshenk, they've rotated as well. And this looks like Cringe Crew want to fight, but I don't think this is a fight they can win.
Heavy aggression coming out from 3 members of Dignitas, chasing down EmilZy. They might have to turn around as EmilZy walks underneath the tower. And that's exactly what we'll see the red squad do. Bacchus, again, getting very aggressive, and this is exactly what Dig's looking for.
That's his position in lobby. He goes jungle 2. Someone locks in jungle. Suntouch says jungle 2. And now it's Shaggyshenk being isolated out. FrostiaK hits the long range. One more hit to secure it. Made you look in 1 second. Doesn't even need it. And it's the first kill on the board for Dignitas after stripping Cringe Crew of their entire jungle. 1,100 gold lead before 2 minutes.
And again, this is I love to see teams really pull out the literal playbook. I mean, this is something that has been practiced before, whether it's at normals like the Wrath before or in scrims. Suntouch and Team Dignitas are pulling out interesting strategies that divert from what we're used to seeing, and it's successful.
And now they're actually going to run into Repikas and Kero here. They stole away those back harpies. Actually, a very late purification coming out from Repikas. Does he not have jump?
Doesn't quite look
Can we highlight
like
over Repikas? I don't think he has jump.
Repikas does not have the jump available.
He's going to get stunned here, and this is a kill. Purification down. Thundercrash trying to mez out, but Repi's already gone. That's really surprising that he didn't go jump there, especially considering that he knew that, you know, Suntouch has been invading and looking to set up kills this early on. That is a misplay that caused him to die once again, and he's level 3 now. He's going to fall so far behind because of that.
Very rough, but Team Dignitas pushing everything to the limit. They'll even come again into the enemy jungle looking for more. But
TheDarkDodo's going to solo out Axioz as well. This is...
And that's wow, that's related a little bit.
That's definitely related.
Yeah,
that's entirely related.
That's related to Bellona. So that's related to Bellona not getting to lane in time, taking a lot of poke off the blue buff, and all of the things that Suntouch did initially earlier in the initial setup. And then Axioz able to just say, hey, I'm 2 levels above you, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and exert my force with.
ShadowNightmare here, level 5. Repikas just hitting 4. You can see right now this is going to be brutal for Cringe Crew to come back from. Dignitas, they're not taking their foot off the gas. They're going to find Repikas in the jungle here as well. Suntouch has the stun available here, but Repikas now with the jump is going to be able to get away. No way he can really stop this, though. He's level 4. He's only risking dying, and quickly he's just turned on 2.
Yeah, 3 players, and then we even see the zone come out from FrostiaK. Long-range pull.
EmilZy's 5, but I mean, Repikas is still 4, and he can't force this fight.
And that's what I like about Mercury, the threat. Everybody hears the ultimate start charging up, and the enemy team has to spread out. They can't line up.
The claps come and everyone run.
And it's just the threat. Just the threat of the incoming
What's
clap.
so funny? Repikas here. Actually, a 3-man stun and lines up ShadowNightmare for the snipe. EmilZy isolated as well. Has no escape, but he's the one who can't escape. One more kill goes to FrostiaK. Kero knocked up under tower. Thunder crashes away barely. ShadowNightmare trying to find the kill, and Dignitas 5 on the board. From 2,500 gold lead, and we're only at 4 minutes.
From threat to execution, Dignitas took the Mercury ult and turned it into something fantastic. Axioz getting in trouble, and that'll be the first kill. Scratch that. That's 6 for Dignitas. One more time, TheDarkDodo gets another one. And this is Dignitas. They're well aware that they're contending for DreamHack, and they understand how their future games are going to go. Panthera matches are already behind them, Kevin. They don't have to worry about that train. So they're just going to keep on keeping on, looking for the kills.
Repikas trying to line up a kill onto FrostiaK, but FrostiaK jukes out everything there, and ShadowNightmare intercepts the Neith ult, but
wow.
Cringe Crew still overhand smash going to secure first kill on the board for CC.
Even that was well played. The kill eventually goes the way of Cringe Crew, and they find themselves on the board. But even the way that Dignitas play that, the raw heal comes out just to save her, just an extra second, block the Neith ult. Everything was in line, but at the end of the day, Repikas finds the kill with the overhand smash, despite Dignitas' best efforts.
And now here we have Cringe Crew trying to recover. They're 5 minutes in. Their players have all hit level 5, so ultimates abound, but iRens has a 2-level lead right now. ShadowNightmare has a level lead. FrostiaK has a level lead, and TheDarkDodo has a 2-level lead. The experience is massive, and if Dignitas keep their foot on the gas, it's going to get dangerous for Cringe Crew. Already they're behind, but this could get even worse.
I mean, you just rattled off the experience. 3,000 gold at 5 minutes. That is not a small number. That is
not a small
very
number at all.
Big number relative to the time clock, and Dignitas going to position themselves around this Gold Fury
Although
and
they're
just
actually
look for the
going to
kill.
bait EmilZy. Jumps a little bit off the mark, though. follow-up here. Rins, actually,
Another.
FrostiaK through the team, and there's the no escape. Can't even get off.
Yeah, just too much damage coming out from Team Dignitas. ShadowNightmare finds the line shot all the way down the hallway. That's 8 in total for the black and yellow. They're up ahead by over 3K, and they're looking to extend that with a hit onto the largest Fury on the map.
Shaggyshenk has to steal. Shaggyshenk absolutely has to steal,
well.
but the Wrath is online, can't even compete. Repikas here, jumping forward, doesn't hit the slow, but there's the Fear No Evil. FrostiaK should fall here, but Suntouch actually jumps in place and successfully peels Repi off. DarkDodo.
Oh, here he
He's
comes.
coming in.
Up on the
Bye-bye,
horse.
Repi.
One shot, one kill.
That is
Repi
a soul
falls.
laner 4 levels ahead of him at 6 minutes.
There's the wraparound coming out from Merc. FrostiaK in trouble, and DarkDodo shows up. The double kill for the solo lane rotation, and he saves the life of his jungler.
I don't want to say F6, but it's getting time to, like, it depends on the comms right now, right?
Yep.
If Cringe Crew are still happy, right, even if they're losing and they know they're going to lose, and instead if they're just, like, thinking about the game, that's fine, right? But if things are getting nasty in their comms right now, they need to F6 because this is a brutal lead.
I understand exactly where you're coming from, and normally that's my conversation. But looking at what Cringe Crew has, so there are only 7 minutes in this game, and the picks and ban phase is a finite amount of time. Nice blink from EmilZy. Very smart play, and Rens just says no way. 11 on the board, and everybody on Team Dignitas has been a part. This is a really rough game for Cringe Crew. There's a finite time in between games and picks and bans. At this point, what you do is you say, all right, what the hell just happened in that beginning of the game? Because that's what has spiraled out of control. We can assess this while we're just sort of treading water here. Even if we see the clear result at the end, this is our time to think and get ready for game number 2.
And Suntouch, a big part of this lead. FrostiaK now has his ultimate. He's going to be looking for Shaggyshenk. The clap goes through, but FrostiaK doesn't pull the trigger here. Blue buff stolen away once again by ShadowNightmare and second jungle Suntouch.
Tier 1 tower going to fall here just shy of 8 minutes. So Dignitas picked themselves a gold Fury. They picked themselves up a Tier 1 tower in the short lane because of a massive 4-level lead for DarkDodo. That's really all brought to you by the incredible exertion of force early in this game by Team Dignitas as a whole and this Bacchus Wrath combination.
I mean, Suntouch was really the key there, right?
Yep.
Because it's funny because Cringe Crew knew what was happening. That's what I don't get from them because they actually successfully warded the red buff and they didn't see Suntouch on that ward at all. ShadowNightmare and Rens were in vision, right? And then they still do the speed buff without warding on the right-hand side. They don't even look for it coming. Suntouch times it nicely, once again steals it away, but then they do the blue buff and they waste so much time, and then honestly, Suntouch is still able to steal away the blue buff, and it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, the blue buff was a little bit rough. The speed buff, I mean, a Bacchus with a Wrath, you have the information, but sometimes you just get smoked. Different story on that blue buff. However, Cringe Crew just couldn't find the pieces.
And now speed buff going to be picked up by Mercury once again. Repikas finally secured his own speed buff. It took him a while, but he got one.
Yeah, that is the first speed buff. The first 2 rotations from speed buff were actually taken by Dig. The third one, well, third time's the charm, right?
Shaggyshenk also suffering from kind of this early game as well, down 2 levels, basically 3. You can see iRens there was at roughly 95% into his level.
Yep.
And that's not something you see from the Hunters, especially considering the fact that, you know, Rens only has 1 kill, but he has 4 assists.
And this is an interesting spot if Dignitas really want to take this to the cleaners. Not only do you have your Rens at level 2 with both defensive actives, relics, but you have your Guan Yu as well with that second option. This is a big power spike. If Guan Yu goes something like a curse, Dignitas can really push forward on Cringe.
4-level lead in the soul lane?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that at first. That is massive. I mean, that's a 4-level lead over basically anyone in the game. EmilZy trying to find Suntouch. Suntouch is not going to care. There goes Fear No Evil, though, and actually Suntouch does care. He's going to get eliminated, and now Thunder crashes aggressively. DarkDodo in a little bit of trouble here. Neith should secure, but Rens to the back line finds 2.
And that's double kill for the Hunter, still giving chase on in the mid lane. And Dignitas pushing down the tower, pushing down the health bars, and just pushing down Cringe Crew in general. 10 minutes have passed, and 2 towers are already dead. Dignitas, I mean, they don't have their foot on the gas, Kevin. I mean, they have their hand on the NOS button. They are just going absolutely incredibly fast.
FrostiaK trying to get aggressive here. EmilZy over the corner, but he's run straight into ShadowNightmare, and FrostiaK to the back line, going to trade out 1-for-1. Shaggyshenk there finds the return kill. And Cringe Crew, a little bit of life there. Able to find 3 kills overall, but they're going to lose their tower. 3 kills as well.
Ouch.
Oh, no, Shaggyshenk!
Just a little bit too aggressive coming out from Dignitas, overstaying their welcome. Go ahead and lose 2 because of a nice weave explosion coming out from Shaggy.
That's feeling themselves. That's feeling themselves. That's like Suntouch there got eliminated by the Taiko drums into the Fear No Evil combo, but then TheDarkDodo sitting in the tower as well, getting poked out low, and then just staying a little bit too long. And they're actually allowing Cringe Crew to slowly close the gap. Now, they still have a massive lead, but still.
Kero going to get isolated, stunned out as well. He doesn't have his jump available, and Suntouch will just throw the wine down. Kero gets smoked out by the ultimate out of Bacchus. Dodo on the horse to try and keep EmilZy at bay. Not going to find the stun, though, and now Suntouch chased up by 2. They turn around, and everybody's looking at Dodo. He's feared. He's got evil on him. But again, that tanky Guan Yu, he's level 13, 1 level higher than Shaggyshenk, and 3 levels higher than anybody else on the side of Cringe Crew.
TheDarkDodo is going to be the one that's very hard to kill. Like, unless he's tanking tower like he did at the mid lane, it's going to be very rough. He's got Breastplate online. He's actually working on Winged Blade, so going to have a little bit of health and some slow immunity as well.
What I liked out of that last sequence, Kevin, was that, sure, Dignitas found themselves kind of being a little bit over-aggressive, but it was all started by a good play out of Cringe Crew. They got a strong pull from EmilZy into some follow-up by the jungler, and they were able to turn a small 1 kill into a much larger situation.
Oh, EmilZy blinks forward, but FrostiaK's already outpaced him. No speed buff, just the fact that Mercury, very fast movement speed at the base level, has boots 3 as well. The Wind Demon, it's completed for FrostiaK again, so going for that RNG.
Yep.
Gold Cure going to be started, and honestly, Cringe Crew, I don't think they expected it to be burned that quickly.
It's just gone, and ShadowNightmare, while confirming the damage on the Gold Fury, actually finds a bunch of damage on EmilZy as well, so the Ares now half HP, and with that, Dignitas going to go ahead and keep pushing forward. 7,000 gold lead, Dignitas 10 kills up their opposition, and both of these teams trying to get the DreamHack, and Dignitas certainly are trying to just...
And this is 12 minutes in the game, right?
Yeah.
This is not like a 20-minute game where it's like, all right, that's a really good lead, 7K. Tier 1 on the left-hand side, getting pressured out. You can see Touch in the back. He's trying to isolate out EmilZy, and TheDarkDodo should be able to finish off that kill, but actually both rooted under tower. There comes the Hun Batz ult, but not enough to do it or follow up.
And the heal from Ra, very important there. He sees his friends going ahead and being aggressive again, diving the tower, provides the heal so the enemies don't have the extra health to really deal with the sustain that Ra's able to put out.
And now Tier 1 getting pressured out. This is going to be free to Dignitas right-hand side. Axioz is split pushing. His teleport is down, but he should be able to make it to the fight in about 13 seconds if Cringe Crew want to make this their stand, and it doesn't seem like they want to.
And I like what FrostiaK did there. As the Tier 1 went down, another Tier 2 will fall as well. FrostiaK sat in the mid lane, forced Cringe Crew to show up. Either I'm taking a Tier 2 or my friends get a Tier 1 for free. And in that time that everybody spent trying to figure out what to do, Dignitas not only get the Tier 1 and left, but they get the Tier 2. Every single Tier 1 off the board already. Only 2 towers remain, and it's very, very early.
This Dignitas squad is looking really good. This match specifically, because I think against Leftovers, they did the same strategy, but it was a little bit sloppy. I really didn't like how they executed it. The idea was good, and they were able to find advantages off it, but some of their players made some mistakes, which we've seen a couple of them here as well. However, they're able to answer back very quickly.
Yeah,
this seems like their strategy much more complete. I don't think this is going to work too many more weeks. I think this is going to be the last straw. Teams are going to, try and figure out some... There's going to be resistance next time they run this.
Exactly, and it's all about the refinement, right? So Dignitas came out here last time and just got a speed buff, right? And then, well, everything just sort of went willy-nilly. And then this time around, they get the speed buff, and then they also stick around enough time for Bacchus to go ahead and engage on the blue buff. That wasn't even the goal, just to end up with some time, but also pick that up. As they get more and more opportunities to try the strategy, I think you'll see more and more extension of that original shot.
Axioz forced to ult as TheDarkDodo and FrostiaK put pressure on him. 4 members of Cringe Crew.
And that's what they're forced to do.
Have to secure a blue buff together.
Cringe Crew have been put in a position by Dignitas that if they want to pick up anything in their jungle, they've got a team fight for a blue buff.
And now this red buff. Suntouch actually not going to be able to secure it. Goes the way of Shaggyshenk, able to time the Spirit Arrow there. But, I mean, Shaggy's 3 levels behind iRens right now. He's level 17 at only 15 minutes, highest level in the game, because with all this fighting that's going on, he's just been able to just farm non-stop.
In the presence of Dignitas, the objective might have gone to the Neith, but she certainly can pick up the red buff herself. Axioz 3 levels down, still giving a fight up against the Guan Yu. Can't deal with the sustain, though, so heal comes out, and you'll see the retreat from the Bellona.
And now the question is, when are Dignitas going to pull the trigger? They've done a lot of rotating, but they haven't really grouped up and trying to force too much, you know, with resistance. They've taken everything for free, but I don't think anything's going to go for free anymore. Cringe Crew might be able to actually fight under the tower, right? They still have the Raijin. They still have the no escape, right? If someone on Cringe Crew can burn Purification beforehand, which they do have some gods do that, right? Shaggyshenk on this Neith. Repikas can burn, you know, Fear No Evil. And then EmilZy can go in the second wave and they can set up with Kero, but it's not going to be easy. And it's going to require more for Dignitas to mess up.
Suntouch not going to find the jump onto EmilZy, but I completely agree, Kevin. I mean, we saw that. We saw something come out with a couple of combination from the members on Cringe Crew to find the kill earlier. This time around, it'll go the other side. Dignitas all combined to find a kill. Not actually going to put their name on it, though. In the turnaround from Cringe Crew, trying to be successful. A lot of damage from the Raijin. That'll be a big point for Dig, and Repikas puts a finish mark on Dodo. So a 1-for-1 exchange thus far, but with that raw heal.
I mean, for the most part, I mean, Dignitas is going to be able to stay healthy, but actually that heal was placed very aggressively, which means FrostiaK wasn't able to heal up. It really depends on like what you're trying to do, and I think ShadowNightmare wanted to fight, but FrostiaK was too low to engage. And here comes the rotation. Suntouch going to be off the mark on the jump. Does get the stun onto EmilZy. And iRens is rotating to steal that speed buff. And it looks like Dignitas, they're just going to play it safe, right? They trade out 1-for-1. Let's just steal their buffs and walk away.
Yeah, by pushing out that pressure on the right side, the jungle wide open. So Cringe Crew, again, losing the opportunity to pick up some extra experience. Dignitas have the timers. They're going to walk right across the map and hang out on the left side so that when the Gold Fury spawns up right about now, they're going to be in position to pick up this objective one more time.
Going to be started up here by ShadowNightmare and iRens. iRens actually electing to back, has his ultimate down, actually. So Dignitas, they're going to wait.
And this is all the threat of the Raijin. I mean, sure, Dignitas have put themselves in a very good situation, almost 10k up, and they've been very powerful early on. But as the game gets later and later, Raijin, at the end of the day, numbers are numbers. And this Raijin can put out a ton of damage, specifically at an objective like this.
And now Gold Fury started up. Dignitas have an 8k gold lead as of right now. Cringe Crew going to make their way in here, but EmilZy a little bit too late, and Gold Fury is already down for free, second time in a row.
And look at that. There's a ward in the mid lane. You see that red ward in the mid lane? That's the reason Dignitas were able to go ahead and start the Gold Fury. As soon as Raijin is out of a position enough for Dig to burn that Gold Fury down, that's how they know the door is open and nobody's coming here anytime soon.
And, I mean, Cringe Crew, they're doing their best, right? Their players are farming okay, I would say, right? Considering everything that's happened, the fact that Repikas and Kero are only 2 and 1 levels down, that's not the worst, right?
Right.
iRens has a 4-level lead, but he actually hasn't really been able to utilize it outside of, you know, one team fight in the mid lane. And as long as Shaggyshenk can farm up and, you know, maybe come even, this should be an okay situation for Cringe Crew. All things considered, right? All things considered.
Right.
I'm saying, like, with how bad this early game went, this looked like it should have been an F6 at 10 minutes.
And again, the ping's coming out towards the mid lane. Raijin, one of the biggest things on Dignitas' mind at the moment. They'll go ahead and pick up vision control on the Fire Giant, likely their next target. But I think Dignitas want to fight Cringe Crew one more time before they take out the big guy.
Definitely. They want to get a pick or two. They don't want to just force this here. They're going to start it up, but this is just a bait to try and get someone in because Cringe Crew
look how fast.
Cringe Crew has shown that they are willing to fight and can fight.
That's a good ultimate out of the monkey, and it's going to be just on time. Fire Giant's still very low. If Cringe Crew turn around, they can secure it. But everybody's looking for the team fight now. Dodo right on top of Repi finds the kill. Doesn't even need the stun or the help from the raw hit. So FrostiaK keep on continuing. Down from the sky comes iRens. Good mez to let his teammates catch up, jump on top of the support. No escape. TheDarkDodo's got 2. Very low is going to be the Bellona as well. iRens picks up 1 more, and FrostiaK hangs on by a thread. Dignitas not even concerned with the Fire Giant at the moment. They're looking for the tier 2. They'll heal up thanks to Ra, and they'll put their sights on the right side Phoenix.
Kero, the last one alive for Cringe Crew, going to be defending against 4 members of Dignitas. iRens in the middle lane going to be split pushing, trying to take out the tier 2, and Kero can't even get anywhere close. Dignitas coming up with 4 for 0 in kills. And even though Cringe Crew were able to do damage, they weren't able to secure anything.
In that entire fight, whatever went on, maybe it was a minion, 17 gold goes to Cringe Crew in the last engagement.
That was a minion. I think that's like a brute minion.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, we haven't, that is in a completely lopsided situation, and Dignitas have made a game with the same thing. Dignitas approaching almost 20,000 gold in the lead, Kevin. 20 minutes on the clock, and they're ahead by a whole slew of every relevant category. Fire Giant gonna push them up even more so. And Dignitas have 60,000 gold, 17k above their opposition, and ShadowNightmare's laughing to the bank. Ha ha ha.
He's got a 17k gold lead, right? 17,000 experience lead. I mean, Dignitas have just run this game from the start. Cringe Crew, you saw that at the Fire Giant, right? They could team fight, however, their team fight was too scattered.
Yeah.
When they combine Kero's ultimate Taiko drums with the Fear No Evil, that is when they're doing a lot of damage and setting up for their team to follow up and maybe get off picks. But when Fear No Evil comes out and Taiko drums is getting isolated by DarkDodo in the backline, it's just not there. And Cringe Crew, there's no way they're going to win this unless they had full committed. Their team had to full commit in there in the Fire Giant pit to really be able to stop.
I mean, one of the things that I really like about what Dignitas have been able to do is Cringe Crew adapted to the situation in the early mid-game. They found out, okay, we can burn beats, we can hit them with the Ares, and we can follow up with the Monkey Ultimate and find some picks that way. Because the Raijin's going to sit in the back and decimate people. 7 kills on the board. Dignitas has adapted their situation, not relying on the laurels of the early game, and just isolate Kero, like you said. He's the only threat to Team Dignitas, and that's exactly where Dignitas is showing their faces, and it's not a threat anymore.
5 members strong here for Dig. 1 Phoenix remains. We're only 22 minutes into this match. 22-7 read the kills, and it has been a SPL team versus a challenger team from the looks of it. And here comes FrostiaK to the back line, takes out Shaggyshenk, switches his target. Now it's Kero. Kero is able to Thunder Crash away, but iRens has already taken out 1, and Suntouch takes out Raijin. DarkDodo gets 1 more. Axioz can trade a kill, but it's too little too late. Dignitas, they're going to get the DSI'd, and they're going to get game 1 here against Cringe Crew.
FrostiaK looking for the Bellona. Beads is away. The stop doesn't matter. Dignitas wind up with the most dominating kill and win I have seen in a long time. Just from minute 1 to minute 20, whatever, they just had their foot on the gas.
It's really weird because we've seen that twice now this week, right?
Yeah.
We saw this game as well as Enemy, right? Chaos going 11 kills, 15 minutes, forcing an F6 coming out of Solar. Like, these are 2 games that we didn't expect to be dominating because of how close the teams are, but they were.
Just a complete turnaround. I mean, Dignitas, I am at a loss for words, so why don't we